Howdy, and welcome to this year's horror movie review thing. Although I don't know if I've done this on this channel, so welcome to this in general. Quick rundown. Every year, since as long as I can remember, I've done a horror movie marathon where I do a different movie every night of the month of October. And I've roped my friend Tyler into it a few times. He, on his own, wasn't much of a horror movie fan before I forced you into this. So a lot of these movies he hasn't seen. One or two of them I haven't seen. So, yeah, we're going to watch a movie, and then we're not going to talk about it with each other. We're going to talk about it here, and then discuss.
With you.
So, I guess first, just a real quick, high level, like, what's your TLDR? Recommended, not recommended? Oh, by the way, this night's movie was Child's Play 2. That. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'd never seen any of the Child's Plays except for the Child of Chucky.
Bride of Chucky.
Yep, that one.
Off to a great start. I'm not editing that out either.
Okay. Yeah, so I watched the first one the other day, and it was pretty good. And then this one, yeah, you got to definitely see the first one to get this one. And I thought I would hate it. I didn't, but I don't ever want to watch it again.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was fine for what it was.
So, out of 10, if you had to...
Ooh, I wasn't ready for that. I didn't know we were going to do a rating system here tonight. Out of 10,
I'm not going to hold you to it, but
give
just
it
snap
maybe
reaction.
a 6. Really? Yeah.
For me, I'd go like, I'd say an 8. It's certainly not perfect.
Ugh.
It's not even amazing. Maybe 7. 7 or 8, somewhere in there. Let's call it 7.5. But I think it's above average. I enjoyed it. Well, I'll jump in, because I came up with a bunch of things I wanted to say while I was watching it. But one of the first things that stands out, and you know, I'm a big movie person, and I love practical effects.
Yeah.
And I love that this movie, it's all practical effects. There's animatronics, and then occasionally he's I forget what they want to be called, but a little person in a costume.
Yeah.
But it's all very practical and very real. There's no CG, there's none of that.
Was this
all
80s movie? Was there even CG back then?
probably, but not good CG. And I'm glad they didn't use it. Also, I like that they really explain the world and a lot of the circumstances. Like, they give you a good reason as to why Chucky made it from the first movie to the second one.
Right, yeah.
Because, you know, they want to play it off to the stockholders and show that Doll's not cursed or whatever. And then they gave you a good reason as to why Andy would pick him up again, because he wants to prove to the new foster parents that he's not a baby, that he can handle it, whatever.
Right.
Like, everything, like, they really make it fit in the story.
Yeah.
So many movies, the decisions that happen and the ways people react just make no sense, and there's not reasonable. And they took the time to really explain a lot of that. So I
was
certainly
waiting
love
to
that.
see where they were going, because at the beginning you see them just cleaning up Chucky after he was burned. And like, why would they be doing this? And then they explained it well. And I was like, okay, I can live with that. So that was fine for me, yeah. I had no issues with that. It was just, to me, it wasn't a horror movie. It wasn't scary. Like, and I'm not saying that because, I'm an adult and I don't get scared anymore.
Yeah.
Like when I saw Mama, holy shit, that was scary. But this was like, it wasn't, I don't know, I don't know. Yeah, it didn't really scare me.
Yeah.
It wasn't a horror.
I mean, I guess I can
There
see
was
it.
no edge of my seat moment where I was like, what's going to happen next? I was like, okay. It was just 90 minutes of it was just fun.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of the slasher movies from that time are going to fall into the same boat. Same as like a Nightmare, Halloween, Friday the 13th, a lot of those. There's not as much suspense. It's more just watching the slasher go around and kill people.
Right. And there were no jump scares. I was surprised by that. There were no. If they
Actually,
tried,
yeah.
I was like, I wasn't sure if that was a spot where it was one or that, because nothing really get me. But I still get pretty jumpy on a jump scare.
Mm-hmm.
But there was none of that in this movie.
I'm kind of okay with that. I feel like jump scares, I don't like movies that rely too heavily on them. I like when they can get natural suspense. Like, if you're going to startle me or unsettle me, do it in a real way. Like, I feel like a jump scare is just a cheap cop-out.
Jump scares are cheap, but they're still effective for me. So
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just fun. And like I said, it was concise. Like, I loved that it was just 90 minutes of just fun. Like, they didn't draw it out like modern movies do today, where they have to have this ridiculous human story aspect to it. I mean, they did in this movie quite well, you know. kid that had a traumatic experience, and now his mom is away, so he has to be placed in a foster home, and he's dealing with that, and I thought that was great, but it wasn't something they lingered on and have to make it a whole emotional arc.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, it was what it was, and Chucky was there, and it was just 90 minutes of fun.
I like to, they expect that going in, you've seen the first movie. Like, they don't re-explain, they don't rebuild the world. They assume that you already know what's going on, so let's just jump into it.
Right.
They're not hiding the doll this time, they're not playing around, is he not? Like, you know he's alive, you know what's going on. They jump right into it.
Yeah, they do.
And I have to say, Chucky, as a character, I love Chucky. Like, he's been one of my favorites forever, but this movie, there's a lot of scenes where he's so visceral. Like, the way he just gets so upset and he just swears and he's angry.
Yeah.
And it really, like, it's just a fun character. Like, when he gets angry, like, he flips like a light switch and he just, he spouts off horrible obscenities and he's just screaming and ranting and threatening to kill everyone. And it amuses me. Like, it's a funny character, especially from a doll. It's great.
Yeah, I can see that. Like he at the end there when he killed the technician trying to fix the eyeball conveyor. Like, he didn't have to do that. He just went out of his way to make sure he just killed that guy for some reason. I was like,
yeah,
okay, that's who he is, I guess. Just wants to murder people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was a serial killer beforehand, but like even with Phil, the stepfather there, the how's it hanging or whatever, he throws out the little quips. But I don't know, like, it's a fun character for me. Like, obviously he's the villain, but I like that he seems to be enjoying himself.
Yeah,
he's just evil for the sake of it. I don't know, for me it's kind of entertaining. Like you said, there's so many times where they take the villain and they want to make him sympathetic. And they have to give this huge, gigantic backstory as to why they do a thing. And every killing has to have a motive, and everything has to have half-hour backstory. And this is just, he's an evil guy that likes to do bad things.
Yeah.
That's all. That's the whole character.
Yeah, it doesn't need much. It's just good fun.
And with Brad Dourif's voice, it fits. Like, I think he has a great voice for it. Like, when I saw the new one with Mark Hamill, I did not like it as much, because he sounds more angry type evil. Like, Mark Hamill's a great voice actor. When he did the Joker, he's got a weird, like, crazy, but this is more bad than crazy.
He's just to me, his voice is just a dude. It's like, that's literally what it is. Like, his voice doesn't, I don't know, it sounds right for the doll, but for me, it just sounds like a dude that got stuck in a doll. Like, they weren't going for anything special. It was just like, here's this crazy guy, and he got trapped, and that's his voice. He's not trying to ham it up.
Mm-hmm.
And, something in my brain says it doesn't work, but it works, and I'm fine with it, and it's just, yeah, it works.
Yeah, like, it's not overacted at all. It's just
maybe that's what
appropriate.
Yeah,
it just fits.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times they'll go a little over the top. They'll overplay the emotion or the anger or whatever to really try to drive it home.
Right.
And this is just like, no, this is just what it is.
Right, and I like Brad Dourif's laugh, and it's a cool laugh, but it's not over the top, like Mark Hamill's Joker kind of thing. So, yeah, it is cool. But it doesn't stick out as, like, it's just not, it's not special, if I'm making sense, but it is what it is, and that's cool.
Mm-hmm. So you at least like the movie. It is
I gave it a 6. I think that's pretty darn good, considering, that I've seen movies that I would rate negative 100. I Love You, Philip Morris.
I was thinking Dead Girl, but yeah, I Love You, Philip Morris might be way scarier. I don't know what else to say. I mean, the acting was all pretty good. Everyone was fairly believable. Even the child actors, I feel like, did a decent enough job.
The Joanne, the foster mom, she had a weird accent. Like, I couldn't tell if she was Irish and trying to play off as American. Like, there's something out of her voice that was weird. And that foster dad guy, he kind of acted weird. But, like Kyle and Andy, great actors.
Yeah.
They just, I loved watching them whenever they were on screen because it was just natural.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the middle finger.
Yes.
The middle finger in the truck, that's probably my favorite part of the movie. That was great. Yeah.
I really, like, any complaints I have to are so minor. Like, nitpicks, which I hate to nitpick because I really do love the franchise. But, like when they first came into the house, and it was explained that, these foster parents have fostered before, and they have many successful kids, blah, blah, blah. But they have all these expensive, fragile knickknacks on, like, just low shelves, and everything's just dressed like an 80-year-old's home. You would never do that if you had kids coming in and out of the house all the time. It's just, there's no way.
Well, to be fair, my parents had a really cool antique lamp, and they're like, "This is our prized possession," and me and my brothers kept breaking it, so they just kept buying replacements, and they had like a whole shelf that was just like 4 or 5 replacements because I knew eventually it was going to get smashed again.
I'm a guy that has a house full of expensive crap, and I either keep it away from where children will reach it, or keep children away from it. Like, I don't know. But again, it's such a minor nitpick, but that's really all I can come up with.
Yeah.
Like, the story made sense.
The
It was the right length.
The deaths were a little over exaggerated.
Yes, but...
What's her name getting blown out of the closet?
Yeah, the teacher.
The foster lady getting blown back into the copy machine and all that weird stuff. That's a little over exaggerated.
It is, but that's how every film was made at the time. I mean, think of every horror movie, even like action movies. Think Total Recall. Think, any Schwarzenegger, Stallone, anything from that era. Everything is very over the top, very exaggerated. One bullet hitting a car will explode half a block.
Yeah, that's true.
Everything was over the top. So they weren't so much going for realism with the effects in most movies. So for the time, it feels appropriate.
I guess so.
Like now it's dated, but if you watch enough movies from the era, I feel like that's how all of them are going to feel.
Yeah, it was just good fun. It was what it was. I'm surprised for a sequel. I was like, I was not expecting anything. I was thinking, all right, I'm just going to hate it and move on with my life. And now we got 3 coming up, and I'm kind of excited.
Now, how would you say...
Because I've seen 1, and that was good. I've seen 2, that was good. I've seen The Bride of Chucky.
Yes.
I honestly can't remember if it was The Bride of Chucky or the other one.
I'm pretty sure it was Bride of Chucky.
And that one was good. I liked that one, too. So, there's a 3rd one coming up. I'm like, okay, wow, this might actually be a legit series.
Now, what did you like first? Or what did you like better? The first one or this one? Because I know the first one focuses more on story, and a lot of time they're dancing around whether or not Chucky's alive. Like, they're kind of... I mean, not really. You see them go to the voodoo shop and everything, but they hide it longer and they do more story.
Yeah, I think I might like the first one a little more. Like, I'd rate the first one like maybe a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. And this one's only a 6.
Okay.
But yeah, this one was just good fun. The first one, that knife scene with the detective underneath through the back and then underneath the seat, and the detective was like up and like, oh, like that was really cool.
Yep.
That was really, really cool. So
he seems to have, I don't remember if there is in the third, but he seems to have a car scene like that in every movie. It's weird that it just keeps working out that way, but yeah.
And it works that knives are scarier. Like, I'd definitely be more scared of a knife than a gun.
Yeah, if he had a gun, like, it's more effective, but it's not, visually, it's not as scary. Like you said, it's not, this definitely works better.
Yeah, give it a try if you've never seen it before.
Alright, and there you go. So, yeah, you liked it. I will always recommend it, because I'm just a huge fan. I started watching Child's Play way too young, so I've loved it forever. And, yeah, I guess that's where we're at.
Cool. Night number 1 for the Halloween movie Halloween horror movie marathon. Halloween horror.
You alright over there? Alright, well, tune in for 30 more days of this.
30 more days. What do we get ourselves into? Shit. Okay. I need to find a job. See ya!